Good evening, everybody. I bring this regular meeting of council to order for November the 19th, 2024. Resolved that the agenda for the November 19th, 2024 regular meeting of council be adopted. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Bobick. All in favor? It's carried. Resolved the minutes of the November the 5th, 2024 regular council meeting be approved. Moved by Councillor Powell, seconded by Councillor Boychuk. Discussion. Have a chance to go over the minutes. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, 4. Resolved this regular meeting of this regular meeting be closed to the public. Resolved that this regular meeting be closed and the public hearing on conditional use order 1/2024 be open. Moved by Councillor Bobick, second by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. So I call the hearing to order to hear conditional use application 1/2024. The purpose of the hearing is to hear representation for or against the following conditional use: to operate a bed and breakfast at 304 Hayes Street.
The requirements of section 169 of the Planning Act have been adhered to.
I request that any person making representation to the hearing state their name and civic address. If you want to speak, you can speak too, or you don't have to. Okay? We have nobody else here that wants to. You want to?
Question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so I read over your documentation and with that, and just from the fire department perspective, since I'm a chair and the fire chief has relayed that they just want to ensure that if you proceed with that construction, that you have full intention to follow the rental unit dwelling safety standard that the town has, which is basically that having the sufficient smoke detectors, CO2 detectors, and multiple points of egress for, I guess, renters to exit or enter the building in case of emergencies.
So before you answer, maybe I'll get you to come up to the chair then, if you're going to answer that, and then just state your name and civic address. Okay?
Okay, I'll answer that.
Oh, you gotta go there.
Oh,
Yeah, come over here.
Come on out.
Don't be afraid.
It's informal.
okay. Yeah, I'll answer that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. We will follow the rules and the guidelines that are there for fire and so forth. So.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sure, like between the building inspector and the fire chief, if you need any guidance, they will provide you the requirements to make sure that
Okay. Yeah.
all the emergency equipment is looked after for the safety of your residents there.
Okay.
No, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Like Ron Lewicki has been working with us obviously on this, as well as Don Mueller. Now I'm not sure if he's going to actually follow through, but my first question was, by the lack of the fact that there's no one here from our neighborhood, does that mean that everyone's okay with it? Is that what I'm gathering?
Well, I can't answer that. That's a good possibility. It's a good sign. But council, later on down in the agenda, will actually vote on this tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And
But
you're not at liberty
typically-
to say whether there's been any negative at this time, or?
There's no other representation here.
Okay.
We have not received any other correspondence to my knowledge. So that's usually a good sign.
We haven't received any formal objections to the public notice that went out to the meeting.
Wonderful. Okay.
Councilor Bobick?
Yeah, that was my question. Was there public notice that was sent out?
Yeah, it's mandatory. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Go ahead.
question. Typically in a case like this where there's a rental that's done, does Ron Lewicki come, like, I'm a little bit concerned about putting all kinds of money into this building because it is a very small building. Like, it's only 9 by 12. So it's like a tiny, tiny home, right? 2-story. And if the standards are the same for this building as it would be for a normal home, there's no way the stairs would ever pass. But if the standard is like a tiny home, that would make a huge difference, right? So I'm a little bit concerned about putting all kinds of money into this building if he's not going to let me know at the beginning of the project. You know what I'm saying? Because I hate to put $30,000 into the building and then he would show up and say, no, these stairs will never fly, and I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you're gonna have to change it, right? So,
Yeah, go ahead.
We won't be able to answer that here.
Okay.
This hearing's about whether we're gonna allow a bed and breakfast on that property
Okay.
in that area. So,
Right.
but to answer that question,
okay,
the more you show the authority having jurisdiction who does make those decisions, the more prepared you are, the better he'll be able to comb through our building bylaws, and
okay,
he'll be able to inform you, well,
Okay.
this isn't. If it's a surprise to him, it's going to be a surprise to you.
okay.
Yeah, this is
That's
just
good.
the
I
first
appreciate
step in the whole process.
it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, well then I will then proceed to adjourn this hearing.
Well, thank you very much.
Resolved that the
Thanks for
public-
bridging.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming out even with the storm, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Resolved the public hearing be adjourned and the regular meeting be reopened. Moved by Councillor Powell, second by Councillor Boychuk. All in favor? It's carried. All right, 6.1. Resolved the RCMP Municipal Policing Service invoice package for the period July the 1st, 2024 to September the 30th, 2024 be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Just when the staff sergeant was here at the last meeting, and was I under the impression that the town of Swan River is served by 7 officers.
7 that we paid for, and then there's provincial.
Oh, so that's why it wouldn't have been on that, his statement. There'd be 2 others. What I'm getting at is on his statement that they had 5 officers. And I guess my question would be, why are we paying? I think a couple are provincial.
You want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I know the
Okay,
answer.
go ahead.
As per our contract with our RCMP, with the federal government, it is for 7 members. Currently under this year, we're paying for 5.32. So we're, due to the staffing shortages and that, we're only paying for what's being allocated to us. Which
Okay,
is,
thank you.
so we're not paying for the full 7, we're paying for the, out of the entire contract policing in Manitoba, which would be 7, we're paying for 5.32
Okay,
members.
thank you. That answers my question.
So,
Any further discussion? And just on that, I know that there has been some questions from some ratepayers about what the charges for RCMP. This actually goes to prove what we're paying for. All in favor? It's carried. Resolved the letter from Adult and Teen Challenge dated November the 4th, 2024 in regards to urgent financial requests be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion on that? This is a letter, of course, requesting a meeting with Adult Teen. Go ahead.
Just to let council know that they're aware of the 2025 grant application process and the delegation process, so they can meet with council.
Yeah, of course. Councillor Medwid.
That was going to be my question, if they've been sent that information so that they can book a delegation and fill out the application.
Yeah. Councillor Bobick.
So then this comes to the table. Is this for Teen Challenge in the town of Swan River? This looks like a generic letter to me.
Yeah, they want to meet with the town of Swan River.
So they're $750,000 short. Is that what I'm reading?
Well, it looks like they're having some financial issues there, but I don't know exactly how that all breaks down and what they're asking for us. But they would ask for a delegation, as CL Poole said, and if they make that request, we'll meet with them whenever we can.
Well, my question is, it's Adult Teen Challenge of Central Canada. So is this requesting from them or from the local entity?
I would think it's probably from the provincial, but that's my assumption.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Powell.
Yeah, I kind of did look into this a little bit, and this is like basically for not so much province, but all of Teen Challenge. This comes from Central Canada. This is all of Canada. This doesn't pertain only to.
But the letter is from
Yes.
the Winnipeg chapter, and I'm assuming that's who wants to meet with us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? It's carried. 7.1. Result of the October 2024 Swan River Handy Transit Van Report be received. Moved by Councillor Boychuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. All right, we're into 7.2. Reports, council report. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
A few things in the last period. Had a couple CSWB meetings in the last 2 weeks, both with the advisory and the working group. Last week I met with Sergeant Henson per his request for some just general discussion and clarification on the town's 2 resolutions that were offered to meet with them if they had any questions on our stance. So I met with him on that. And then last night, planning district meeting, which was just regular business moving forward. And from there, we should be expecting to hear potentially some dates coming forward for the public hearing and presentation for the new planning document, regional planning document. That's in draft form at this point, and we're circulating through government departments at this point, waiting for their feedback for changes, if any, and then bringing it back to the valley for public hearing before it goes to readings.
Okay, that's everything?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Powell.
No, we really don't have too much other than we met with the library a little bit. We've got some things going on there. We have a couple of meetings coming up, but other than that,
Okay. Councillor Boychuk.
November 6th had the Chamber of Commerce AGM and regular meeting after. Some new members kind of at the meeting, and looking forward to getting some more people on board potentially in the future to do some more business geared promotions. November 7th was another meeting with the grant writing group with the Legacy Committee and Recreation in the town. We've submitted the second grant with the help of administration here and Mr. Malchuk, and now waiting on access to a third grant that we're going to be applying for. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Whyte.
November 6th, Mr. Poole and I met to discuss our EcoStrat strategy, where we're going with EcoStrat, being a green energy company trying to evaluate what the valley has to offer, so we put a plan together. Then on the 6th also, I had the pleasure of going to the Chamber of Commerce AGM to see what was going on. I was interested. And recruiting new members was high on their priority, which I appreciated, and the difficulties the Chamber had with COVID, which has certainly set them back a little too. So thank the Chamber for the work that they do. But on the 7th, we met with EcoStrat through a Zoom meeting with EcoStrat executive and a group in Mississippi who were a neat bunch of, I think at that time they were all men, and looking to gain green energy. And some of the things we have to offer as a community, obviously, is the chips, which are made at Spruce Products, and the availability of straw from various sources of straw. So very interesting. We had a BBB rating, which is pretty good. I'll get a copy of it and we'll send it out to all the board. I have it at home, the things they asked us, the questions, and the data that you would pull together with your team, Derek, so thank you for that. And then the 12th, we had our cow meeting in the evening. And I'm hoping that Councillor Medwid's spending more time, and I'm looking for, and I believe Council is looking for, a COPP review, where we are with COPP, all the wonderful things that are happening, the progress that's being made, because that's a thing we need in our community. So I'm looking forward to Councillor Medwid's report on that. It doesn't have to be in detail, it can be anecdotal. I'm not too hung up on that word. And that's it for now, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bobick.
Thank you, Your Worship. Attended a watershed meeting last week, I should say, with the Grow Committee. This year we took on about $20,000 more protection of land. I shouldn't say 40,000. And what it does is an incentive program. The incentive program does not use any monies from the rural municipalities that is supplied for watershed. This is a totally separate program through the province. So to date, we've protected 4,900 or 4,096.5 acres, Eddie's got it down to, of riparian areas, upland wooded areas, grassland areas to date. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that if you've got a wooded area or a grassland area, that watershed will pay out for this. It is areas that are looked at by the board, the Grow Committee itself, and if it's good for the environment, it can be paid out per acre. So to date, this is a 10-year program. To date, we've put into the monies into the valley of $217,000, and it's a 10-year program. And at the last 10 years, the ones that are signed up for that 10 years will carry on for another 10 years. So over the lifetime of this project, or program, I should say, there will be a lot of money injected into the valley. So with that, just there were 6 wells filled in by the watershed this year, abandoned wells, which could end up being pits for other things to be thrown into the water thing. So we also offer that service. Thank you.
Could you define riparian zone, please?
Let's say it's a river's washing into a bank and nitrogen off the fields going into the river and stuff like that.
So the water
will
soil
repair
meet?
that area.
So it's water and soil meet?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. I wasn't sure.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Medwid.
Well, I've attended a couple of community safety well-being meetings. Today I was in day 1 of 3 of the harm reduction training, which is actually very enlightening and informative. We looked at taking a closer look at the colonial patriarchal systems that help to keep us in an oppressed state, and that we are essentially looking at more and more people falling into that low income and vulnerable and homeless category, which is catapulting a lot of our other issues. And when we kind of address those, then we address the other issues that tend to be plaguing communities across Canada right now. As for the COPP update, I have been giving updates as asked. We have been growing throughout the province. Locally, we are still doing patrols. Minbo is looking to start up a group, so I'm working with them on that. We have put our ducks in a row with regards to policy liability waiver agreements to engage with an organization to do video monitoring patrols. However, it does require a set standard for any organization that we partner with, and they need to meet those criteria before we can partner with them. We are still active. We patrol regularly. And we have probably at least 6 or more new groups throughout the provinces.
Okay. Thank you. That's everything?
Yeah.
Not much more for me. I have more members' privilege, but I've been fielding a lot of questions and I guess from the media, what we've been dealing with in the valley. So there's been a lot of attention drawn to that, and I'm trying to do the best I possibly can with that. And also the conversation that we've been having with the provincial government, with the Justice Department, which we'll hear a little bit more about tomorrow, and with the GIS, I hope.
Thursday.
I hope with the announcements tomorrow. So, well, that's going to actually happen. So, and then and then some other stuff with the media. Last night I had a Swan Valley Health Facilities Foundation meeting. Some of the issues that we've been dealing with there is trying to find somebody that actually can do renovation work to one of our houses that we own. And I think that we're finally finding somebody, but this has been an ongoing thing for almost a year and a half to find somebody to do some of our renovations for a house there. It's crazy. And then we also have actually had a request to purchase a cancer care scale. So that's something else that the foundation is doing to help our facility is a cancer care scale. So that's another request that we had just recently. So otherwise, that's it for me. Mr. Poole, anything for you?
Yeah, I apologize, I don't have a written report for council tonight, but just to highlight, General Government Services Committee will be, or has received information on the CAO search, the interim and the full-time, dealing with HR issues in the office, or completing some HR issues, and the proposed work chart changes within the municipal office. And we're dealing with the logistics and organization of the provincial delegation coming Thursday. We're finalizing the AMM minister packages for council, so we'll see those, the booklets. And I just wanted to echo just a good job by Councillor Whyte on the EcoStrat interview we took with Grenville, Mississippi. They did a pretty good job in terms of the technical side and what they brought, but I think we were, I don't know, felt more like home. I think we did a really good job. Well, I can't wait to see the videos. But it is important.
Okay, that's everything?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, 8.1. Resolve the conditional use 1, 2024, lot 2, 3, plan 389, Thiessen be approved. Moved by Councillor Powell, second by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.2, resolve the fee schedule for 2025 be reviewed and approved, received and approved, sorry. Moved by Councillor Powell, second by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Just looking at it, went through it a couple times here, just I have more of a questions on where we are with some of these things. I really have a problem with upping the fees at the cemetery. The fees are covered by the cemetery now in the mill rate. I just don't know why we need to pay the end users. Lots of people pay taxes all their lives in town. And we just upped those fees 2 years ago, is it correct? 5%?
I think they went up last year.
Last year? Okay, now we're gonna go up another 5%. I understand management's way to want it to be pay for itself, I guess you'd say. But at the same time, there's been a lot of people in the town who paid taxes all their lives to pay for that thing. I just don't know, I don't have any numbers that really suggest that why we would go there. Also, a concern with the landfill, we've taken in a large amount of money on contaminated soil this year. I don't know why this would be the year to up the fees out there. Those are my concerns.
Go ahead, Seal.
I guess just to answer one of those, the administration doesn't decide to do these things. They're directives from council. So we took council's directive to make it pay for itself so that we don't have to put it on the mill rate. That is the reason why they are going up.
Okay. Further discussion? Go ahead.
I don't disagree with what's proposed in the fee schedule here, but I propose or make a motion that we table this for 2 weeks, as we've had what's the word we're looking for? Reach out, I guess, from a neighboring municipality to re-enter it, or go back into discussions regarding shared services and some of the information. So without maybe trying to spoil some of those discussions by approving these tonight, we can have what they present these proposals to them and go from for that. But I guess I didn't have to give that explanation, just table the motion.
Yeah, so, motion to, table, till, what date are you proposing? December the 10th?
The next,
December the 10th.
No, it shouldn't
I
be the
do.
10th. Should be December 3rd.
That'll
I
be a
do the
regular
7th.
meeting?
17th.
can we table it till the 17th, if that
You
works?
can table it to wherever you.
Okay, to
Yeah,
the
whatever you
17th.
ask for.
Yeah, 17th.
Okay, so take a motion to table the resolution till December the 17th. It moved by Councillor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Whyte, I believe it was. All in favor? It's carried. Okay. 10.1. Resolved that the accounts as follows be hereby approved for payment. General accounts checks number 32219 for Menares Merchant Services for $402. General accounts checks number 32220 to number 32280 totaling $568,926.73 is listed on Schedule A. Payroll accounts checks number 5505 to 5508 totaling $104,312.15 is listed on Schedule B. Payroll accounts checks number 5509 to 5513 totaling $106,118.88 is listed on Schedule C. Direct deposit payments totaling $30,869.94 as listed on Schedule D. Moved by Councillor Boychuk, seconded by Councillor Powell. Discussion. Go ahead.
I meant to send this earlier, but I forgot to hit send on the email to CFO Gnida, but check number 32225 to Manitoba Public Insurance, vehicle damage claim settlement. Looks like we're paying them for that, so I don't know how that works. Usually we get money from them in a claim.
Yeah, I went to Director Harvey today with this one and got the answer, but I can't remember yet what he told me. I'm gonna have to get back to you, unless
CFO
CFO
Gnida,
can answer that
do you
right away.
The town, he said equipment damage to citizens' vehicle, and since the deductible is $5,000, the claims company suggested that the town just pay the entire amount.
Okay, good enough, that answers it to me.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. 10.2. Whereas Section 326 of the Municipal Act provides that a municipality may impose supplementary taxes, and subsections 306 provide that a municipality may cancel or reduce taxes upon receipt of assessment alterations from Manitoba Assessment Services. Therefore, be it resolved that the assessment alterations provided by Manitoba Assessment Services on November the 1st and the 5th be made to the 2024 property tax roll with the resulting increases totaling $76.90 and the resulting reductions totaling $254.43. Moved by Councillor Boychuk, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 10.3. Whereas the town of Swan River use municipal equipment, materials, and labor to carry out private works on private property under the Municipal Act Clause 252E and set the fees and charges for the works under Clause 252(1)A of the Act. And whereas sufficient time has been allowed for payment of such outstanding amounts as listed on attached Schedule A totaling $3,227.06. Therefore, be it resolved that each of the unpaid amounts listed on Schedule A be added to the corresponding property tax roll and collected in that manner. Be it further resolved that notice be sent to each property owner detailing the amount being added to the taxes and advising that interest will accrue on the said amounts in the same manner as for unpaid property taxes effective December the 1st, 2024. Moved by Councillor Boychuk, seconded by Councillor Powell. All in favor? It's carried. Ten point three. I did that one already. 11.1. Resolved by law 13/2024 being a bylaw to provide for the expenditure and borrowing of funds for the purchase of a columbarium be read a second time. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Boychuk. Any discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Well, just the resolution says we're borrowing $100,000, and I know that we're not gonna spend $100,000. And that, but why does it stay at $100,000? If we know what we're gonna spend, why would that not be what we borrow?
We kind of do this all the time, but go ahead.
Yeah, usually, the typical process is you wait till the project's done, and then we get the actual rates from the bank. We CFO Gnida does the calculations. Those calculations are finalized after the project is finished. This is just the process allowing us to borrow. You always want to go high, because if it's not enough, we have to start the process all over again.
I understand that, but I mean, there's a fine line between high and extreme. I think it's only $50,000 that we're gonna do this. Columbarium now is a bylaw for $100,000, so I'm just saying. If the general public's listening to this and hear that we're spending $100,000, they don't understand that we're not actually spending that.
Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I think to answer Councilor Bobick's question a bit more, I think the columbarium itself is 50,000, but then we have to build a cement pad for it and the labor and the wages to all do that, so.
Whatever's passed in the financial plan.
so.
Further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. 11.2, resolve the bylaw 13/2024 being a bylaw to provide for the expenditure and borrowing of funds for the purchase of a columbarium be read a third time and be passed. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Boychuk. Any discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Again, I just go to the $100,000, and I understand that you have to put cement in and all that stuff, but it seems to me that we should have a little better price knowing what that's gonna cost, because right now, you can pour cement right out to the end of the driveway for an extra $50,000, so I'm just saying, I think we need to refine our borrowing bylaws a little closer. My thoughts.
Okay, go ahead, CFO Gnida, sorry.
Yeah, the process is, first we need to have a bylaw allowing us to spend the money and to borrow for it. And then once the project is, that we need that in place before we can even start the project. And then once the project is complete and we know the total exact amount of the actual cost and the rate from a bank, then we do an amending bylaw, which amends this bylaw to the actual amount to be borrowed and the actual rate of interest. So as soon as the project's done, then we'll be doing an amending bylaw.
Go ahead.
And the financial plan passed by council does say $100,000. I guess, I don't know where to go here. If there's a directive that, if we know it's under, it's not like we do this all the time. This is a relatively small project. Just give us a directive on how to do these and we will do it.
We'll be voting on the resolution, go ahead.
And were we not kind of borrowing this in-house too? Like, we're not borrowing it anywhere else? Yeah, okay.
Okay, further discussion? It's a recorded vote. All in favor? It's carried. All right, moving on, we have members' privilege. We'll start with Councillor Bobick.
Thank you, Your Worship. More of a statement than a member privilege. I don't know. Over the last few weeks, I've been thinking what's going on in the town of Swan River, and everybody's been reading Facebook. And I don't believe half of what's on there, but sometimes you do. You never thought, the statement that, you never thought this would happen in our town. Well, it's happening. Like, I mean, we've got murders, kidnappings, we've got arson, we've got theft, we've got assaults. I don't blame harm reduction. I think they're a piece of the pie. I just find it strange that the government of Manitoba, not an NDP government, not a conservative government, the government of Manitoba will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars flying around at night, putting people out at night to protect the moose. The town of Swan River will send $600,000 of money out of this town to protect the landfill and recycling. We need to shape up and find something to do here. The town is going downhill fast. So hopefully, when we're all at AMM, put your game face on and start lobbying. We need some answers for this. Thank you.
And thank you. Councillor Medwid.
Well, Bozeman Lions are putting on a brunch, that's the word for it, on Friday, November 22nd. They are raising funds for a new play structure at the Bozeman School, which will also serve the community as well as the daycare. They're in need of some new equipment. Theirs has aged out and is going to be removed if it hasn't already been. So if you are available between 10 and 2 on Friday, November 22nd, please come out to the Bozeman Legion Hall for brunch. It is by donation. And we will be having our 40th celebration for the Bozeman Lions on December 7th. And there'll be a dinner, $30 a ticket, I believe, if you'd like to join us. And we'll be celebrating 40 years in the Bozeman area community. And I kind of echo Councillor Bobick's sentiments. We do need to be lobbying, and we need to be lobbying for the resources that are going to bring change to our community, and making sure we're advocating for the services and resources that will bring the change to the community. So I'll be there.
Okay, and Councillor, well, actually, you know what, congratulations to the Bulls and the Lions too for their 40th. Councillor Boychuk.
I guess after meeting with harm reduction earlier this evening, and hearing the not great news that substance use is increasing, and it's not just a Swan River problem. It is a country. It is a global. It is worse than any COVID pandemic, I believe. But I can't help but think that, and I want to pose that question, do we think that the actual harm reduction programming has actually contributed to this increase? Because even the last message I had, it's like we are promoting drug use. That's what it feels like. That's what these funds are kind of being used for. And I just pose that question, and at what point do we say, you know, maybe it's not keep putting money into this, and we have to say enough's enough and people need to change and not look to other people to clean up their mess. Not look to the medical system to do that. I don't know. Maybe that's too harsh and too much of a pendulum swing, but something needs to be done. I agree. That's it for me. There's 3 home games for the Tigers this weekend, so yeah, if you're busy or free Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you'll catch some entertainment.
Good, thank you. Councillor Whyte.
Just a couple of comments on the 9th of November. Swan Valley Outdoors had their 6th annual banquet. It's supported by the community as always. And the number of $132,000 has already been spent in the valley from that entity, and I'm cautiously optimistic we'll make more than 20,000 clear again at the next dinner. So all of a sudden it's going to be 150,000 spent in the valley by Swan Valley Outdoors. For be creative, there's many opportunities if you want to do something at horses, archery, pick a number. On the 11th, I had the honor of attending the Remembrance Day service and presenting a wreath on behalf of the Government of Canada. And it just makes me think that, to me, that's the most important day of the year, the Remembrance Day service. When we honor those who have given their lives literally and wounded themselves and have struggled to this day so we can live the life we do. We can criticize one another in a public forum. Most of us don't get mad too often. In my case, I won't stay mad very long. And I just can't say enough positive about the local Remembrance Day team who organized that, the veterans in the Legion Hall for the exemplary work they do supporting Canada as a whole. The 14th, a sad day for, I'm sure for many, Pat Maximchuk's funeral, a young woman who did so much for the town, and out of respect for that family, I think we can only say thank you. On the 16th, the Immigrant Services had their potluck dinner, and unfortunately I couldn't make it. But I just think of the dozens of things Immigrant Services do to make our new guests, our new community members welcome in our community, and Jillian McGrath and her team should be thanked for that, because we have a lot of people coming into the community now who are being positive members of the community, supporting everything that happens. So public, I can't thank Immigrant Services enough, so thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I guess we all know that next week is the AMM conference in Winnipeg, and we all basically have our hit list of individuals and ministers and delegates that we will be networking with for some discussions on various things. But even though it's a difficult topic, I think the town of Swan River and the valley as a whole has pulled a Band-Aid off of this whole discussion. I've never had so much interaction and engagement by other municipal councils or councillors or groups reaching out for this, expressing their concerns and whatnot. So a lot of the challenges that we are experiencing here in the town right now are very difficult and stuff like that. But for years, and as Councillor Bobick said, under all levels of government, provincially and federally, basically ignored the problem and pushed it underneath the carpet. As we heard earlier this afternoon, mental health treatment in the province is the worst in the nation, and it's a shambles. And you can't even get the treatment you want without waiting between 3 months to a year to access that. So watching a lot of the debate in the legislature and some communications that we're having back and forth with ministers on various topics, that topic is no longer in the shadows. It's right in forefront. It's a very difficult topic to talk about, but it needs to be talked about, and hopefully throughout this whole discussion, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very big discussion at AMM in the Bear Pit and with other ministers going forward, because there's a lot of municipalities that are in communication that they're in the same boat, maybe not to some of the extremes that we are, but they're still all in the same boat, and we all need to have those discussions. And nothing's going to get solved next week, but at least those discussions are starting to happen, and we just need to get the message out that there's no more finger pointing. We need solutions versus looking backwards in the rearview mirror. We need to look forwards out the front windshield and solve this issue, not what previous governments did or did not do. So I'm looking forward to those discussions, and hopefully with their moving forward. So.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Powell.
Yeah, and just to Deputy Moriaux, just to say yes, I think that's a really important piece, and I think we really have to, as a community, we have to really look at all those things, and I think, understand that we are supporting those and really want to be, are trying. The other thing is just, yes, the brunch on Friday, hockey as well. The Alberta Short-Term Friendship Center has their AGM December 3rd, and I think the cutoff for the date for your membership is November 27th, so if you plan on attending, please have your membership before then. I guess another huge thing happening this weekend, which is pretty exciting for Minnetonka's is the Valley Axemen have their Minnetonka's, their first game of the season, and I think there'll be huge attendance there. Tim Hortons right now this week has their cookie week, and everything's going to Hayes School. So if you can stop in and support their cookie week, smile cookie event. Yeah, and I'm doing hockey this weekend. There's hockey all the time. I think.
Well, we hope so. Good, well, thank you. Director Clouson.
Nothing from me tonight.
Okay, thank you. CFO Gnida.
Nothing from me either.
Okay, thank you. CO Poole.
Yeah, just to echo what everyone's saying in regards to the needles, I think a message needs to be sent that we heard tonight that the reason they're supplying and distributing these needles is to stop bloodborne diseases. But at what result? So they need to know the results of this. So we know the hospital beds are expensive and collecting the needles is cheaper. We're getting these real answers, and I thank Harm Reduction for stopping the supply and distribution a month ago. But the message needs to be sent to PMH. So what I gotta say is, if you're a business or a resident anywhere in town and you see a pile of needles that shouldn't be there, take a picture and send it to your PMH representative. I don't know what else to say. We know that the big solution is going to be long, but in the meantime, they're not looking at the results of how it's affecting the rest of these people. That's what I have to say about that today. And then I want to end on a positive. The Remembrance Day service was really good. Just a shout out to Pastor Bob Lewis. I had goosebumps when he spoke. He did a really good job.
He did. It was a very well job, and a really good service too. Just for me, I guess, leading up to the AMM convention, fall convention next week, your agendas, you'll probably see those probably by Friday. It's pretty much all kind of done. Just a reminder to everybody that the trade show is only going to be for Monday only, and but there will be an evening session on that, and there's going to have some games and all that. So I'll send out some details to everybody here in the next day if I get a chance to. Travel arrangements, as I sent an email this afternoon to everybody to make sure that you have your travel arrangements figured out. I believe that the AMM is going to be really interesting this year. I think that the town of Swan River has done a good job of not only raising about needle littering and all that, but crime and everything else that is plaguing a lot of small communities in the province. And I've been working closely with the mayor from the PAW, and we're going to have a joint press conference on Monday morning with the press and so forth to ask questions about our issues. And of course, leading up to the resolutions that the town of Swan River and the town of the PAW has jointly worked on that we'll be voting for on the floor during the AMM, specifically on the needles and distribution and on the retractable and everything, and the exchange program, all that we all kind of talked about earlier today with Shauna. I spoke with a lot of press, in the last little bit. It's almost becoming a daily thing, and I don't mind it. It's good, but I have to remind them that Swan River is not just this doom and gloom place. We have a lot of good things. It was we heard earlier about the Lions and our hockey and everything else. So there's a lot of good things that we have, and sometimes it's easy to get kind of pulled back into that and don't think too much of the positive. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. We do have some big problems, and we will work on that with the province and keep on lobbying. I think we're going to be very successful with one of the parts of it, initiatives that we had with the municipalities, and the province is going to come up and support our GIS, which we'll hear about the details in the next couple of days. And at the same time, when we're all going to be at the AMM, we'll be talking with ministers and all that. In order for our message to be clear and received by ministers and their deputies and all that, our message has to be clear. Our message has to be consistent. We can't be just saying different things across the board, because then the message becomes skewed, where the point is, how effective is the message going to be? So we have our workbooks. We will be stick to those workbooks that we, as committee, has we have debated about and talked about what our message is going to be to the ministers. I want to make sure that we stick to that because we will not have a lot of time to sit down with ministers. So with that, I wish everybody a good trip to Winnipeg. We'll see you there and enjoy the convention. I think it's going to be good, you know, and the Bear Pit I think will be very interesting to say the least. But again, if anybody has any questions on the AMM or the agenda earlier than Friday, then just give me a shout and I can give you any details.
Or should I just got one more thing?
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And just to build on, I forgot one thing to mention in my comments, but as people probably noticed, Bray Mountain Health has put out a telephone number for people to, if they have discarded sharps that are on their property or they see and they or don't want to or afraid to dispose of them themselves in a proper manner. Prairie Mountain Health now has a telephone number that goes to, I guess, an answering service where you can leave the request for pickup. I guess there's some instructions there as to where it is and what it is and whatnot. And then Monday to Friday, some staff will be in the morning for 2 hours of the day going out to go pick up those discarded, improperly disposed of needles in the community. So it's not the greatest only solution in there, but it is one of the avenues that the people in the community has been asking for, is to when they've been phoning the town office and myself and many others that they see this and they want someone to come and look after it for them. It is an avenue that PMH has put forward in the interim to help clean up the used needles. So, but just to be clear, that's a PMH initiative, not a town of Swan Rivers. Even though we support it as initially, but it's not the town doing it, it's Prairie Mountain Health.
Correct. Okay, thank you. So with that, we have nothing else, so we'll head straight for the adjourn. So resolve this regular meeting council now be adjourned at 7:52 p.m. Moved by Councillor Bobick, second by Councillor Medwid. All in favor? It's carried. We are adjourned.